Welcome to the Myself Wellness Podcast. I'm Charles Patti, the voice of Myself Wellness, along with my co-hosts Christina Thomas and Jamie Venziel. 9 years ago, I began my journey to self-awareness and healing. Like many who have faced personal struggles, I felt lost and struggled to find lasting healing. It wasn't until I discovered alternative healing methods that I began to see a real change in my life. This show will help you unlock your true potential through healthy lifestyle practices and transformations. Join us as we explore personal stories, expert advice, and practical tips to help you step into your true potential and level up. Welcome to the Myself Wellness Podcast. Welcome back to the Myself Wellness Podcast. Today we're here with Alex Subotich, and Alex is not only a friend, but is also one of our clients. He works with different medicines and alternative healing modalities. So Alex, it's great to have you on the show today.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Welcome. Thanks for being here.
And you got my last name right. So
Only
awesome.
took
3 tries later.
That's awesome.
So we met through the synchronicity of the universe. I that seems to be like a common theme on a lot of our shows, but Greg Lake introduced us, or I met you through your sister who met Greg. How did it all happen?
So we met through my sister because she was looking for a ketamine clinic, and the Greg was the one that he wait, give me a second.
Referred her to us.
Yes, yeah.
All
He
right.
was the one that referred to her. And so basically then after that, like, we hit it off right away.
Yeah. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
So tell me, you did the treatments with us also. What other medicines have you had experience with moving into this before actually doing ketamine therapy?
Well, I tried psilocybin mushrooms. I dabbled into DMT, MDMA. That'll be pretty much it. And now, like, I'm waiting for ayahuasca treatment. So, like, getting that in a year, that's gonna happen soon.
Before you came to us, you had done ketamine, right?
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So what was that like? Like, what was it like somewhere else, and what drove you to come to us if you had done it somewhere else before?
So basically, the clinic that I found is I wouldn't like go into names and for
No, you don't
respect to them.
Yeah.
But it was very different experience. Like, my first experience with ketamine was basically after the 45 initial minutes. I had maybe 15 minutes to put myself together, and then basically was sent off home. It took me like probably 2 hours just sitting on a parking lot, try to put myself together because one part of my reality completely dissolved, and I needed some more time to process that and somebody to hold my hand, and that was not available there. And I would say that was the biggest difference. And later on, I found out that the person administrating it never even tried it and doesn't know what she's sitting on. And so it was kind of turn off, but it was like the only option in that area for me. And after I talked with my sister, she told me about her experience and like your integration room and people that work there, and everything just like kind of hit inside. And I knew right away, like, I need to come here. I need to try it for myself. And I can honestly say after 9 sessions that I did in the other clinic, I did more healing here in three sessions here with your clinic than there in 9. So
That's incredible, man. I appreciate you saying that.
One of the girls told me when you came out of the session, they were integrating you, and you were like, it's so nice to finally have somebody that understands how I feel and understands what I'm going through.
yes.
Like, I can't believe how lonely that might feel somewhere else when
Oh yes, like my first time, like, I mean, second or third, whatever, like, it's, you guys know how it is, like how deep you go and all the things that you experience, and like sometimes you're super excited, you want to share this, and you can see the other person in that moment, like you can see through the other person, like especially when you come out of ketamine, like you seen that there was a distance, like she could not relate, she didn't know what I was talking about, it almost felt like I was a madman to her, in that moment, try to explain like what kind of realm or emotions that you're feeling or what's happening to you in those moments, like, so that was like a big part that was missing, and coming in your clinic, guys, like it was obviously like you guys have the team that been through a lot of trauma, experienced a lot of stuff, like dabbled in all kinds of medicines, and so they can relate on so many levels, and I think that's crucial. And top of the cherry on everything, you guys have Dr. Andrew Ferber, so he's like ascended master over there, like I told you then, like I don't know how you got this guy, but seriously, like he's amazing, like really, like I seen him in that moment, even he was passing through, like when I just came out of the double dose, and I see like just light. He was just light.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Going back to with what you were talking about like having it be more comfortable because you feel like people need to have worked with the medicine in order to integrate you properly. I don't think people understand how important that is. Like from an outside perspective, if you didn't know anything about psychedelic therapy or if you'd never had any experiences with different compounds, when you come out of these experiences, this stuff is completely, it shatters the whole paradigm of what you think is happening in the world. And then when you sit there, like you said, and you're trying to explain it to somebody that's never experienced it, it sounds crazy to people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it was my life for like a decade where like I was trying to explain to people what I had experienced and everybody just thought I was nuts. But like when you can sit down with somebody that's actually been on those kind of journeys and work one-on-one with them or share your experience with them, it's a whole different level of understanding that really allows people to open up fully and really talk about what they've been through and process it in a different kind of way. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. Like there's a huge part is trust, like seeing that they experience that, you can rely on those people, have your back on
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
For sure. So when you were at the other clinic and it was mostly IV ketamine. It was all IV ketamine that
yes.
you did. What do you think the biggest difference for you was between like the IV experiences and the IM experiences? How different was it?
Well, the first thing I would say, like IV is more gradual. It was more gradual sinking in, but I feel like experiencing both thing, I would say the intermuscular is definitely better. Like it puts you in that state right away. And like knowing that how you guys do it, and like, that's huge support system behind everything. You have this tremendous trust going into it. So puts you at ease inside,
I love that.
How did you feel before and after each ketamine session?
Before,
Yeah.
I mean, like probably like you searching for something, searching for something more. There's a layers of you that you try to decipher, and every time when you do it, there's like another layer dissolves and something new comes out, and like you embrace it. It's like almost like there's little parts of your shadow that you keep hiding from yourself, and like it dissolves and it actually shows you it's nothing scary, nothing to afraid of or keep hidden in your heart.
Yeah.
It's something that you should embrace inside of yourself.
I feel like that's a reoccurring theme is a lot of people say that the ketamine treatments build on one another and they always are showing them something else and something more that they got from the first one or the second one. And then in the third and fourth one, it comes back to them. It's really kind of cool to just hear that common trend. And I wonder why it does that. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. I feel like, I had this conversation with somebody yesterday and I just feel like ketamine is such an intelligent molecule and it like peels another layer away and like in the right order that it's supposed to.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
It doesn't go too far on the first one. It helps you heal up through something or have an understanding that you needed to have in order to experience the next experience. It's kind of like this ladder or the stepping stones through the healing journey. And I feel like ketamine does it in such a great way.
Yeah, it's absolutely. I would say it's one of the most gentle medicines that you can try. I see like a lot of people that have problem with just letting go, have a lot of anxiety, and have a lot of fear. The ketamine would be the right place to start because it's such mellow experience compared to sometimes mushrooms or DMT like can take you on a trip that's like will blow your head off. Yeah.
I actually on DMT one time I was split apart through my chin and I was projected up and it really hurt.
Yeah.
Like it hurt to physically be like I was like pulled apart and then astral projected. And I feel like on ketamine, because of the anesthetic quality that it has, it really just like lulls you in and lets you relax first. And then all of a sudden you're like, is it gonna be a dud? Like, am I gonna feel anything? I feel like every single ketamine treatment I do, I'm like, okay, it's not gonna start, like it's not gonna happen. And then all of a sudden, after I have that thought, I'm somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like I would say, like my first experience, I just remember like coming out of it. It was like, okay, like this is true meditation. Like this is like dedicated meditation that you take like maybe 30, 40 years of doing every day for hours to get to this level. This is like a Buddhist monk level stuff, you know. Like, and that in that state, when you hit that level of consciousness, and you go that deep, you can change your mind. Basically, you can say affirmations to yourself that will change trajectory of your entire life and how you feel and how you look at the world. You know, that's the most amazing thing about it. Like it blows my mind every time, like when I do it.
I like what you just said. It's like we're like biological computers, and the thing about ketamine is that it works on the default mode network of the brain, which basically is like our internal chatter, and it's like we always have this. It's like we're narrating our own movie or our own life, right? And then all of a sudden you do the ketamine and it shuts that down.
Yeah.
And so your mind is completely quiet, which goes along with what you're talking about, like Buddhist monk style meditations, right? And then the thing is that once our internal chatter is shut off, then we can actually say these positive affirmations and these things in our internal dialogue, like that we're more conscious about doing it. And that programs into our psyche and it starts this snowball effect that ends up building on it. And then you actually become that.
Yes. Yes.
And
absolutely.
so I think that's why I like, that is why ketamine for me is such a valuable tool, an important tool when it comes to people's healing journeys, because the best way to heal from a psychedelic journey is to surrender to the experience. As Dr. Ferber would say, let go is the way, yes. Right? And the thing is that ketamine actually allows you to let go without even being conscious of letting go. It forces you into it. There isn't any like, I have to submit to this experience.
Yeah, you have no choice.
You have no choice.
Yeah.
You're going.
Yeah.
You know? And so like, that's why, I think that ketamine is honestly, it's the most digestible for your everyday person in society that might not be into alternative medicines like ayahuasca and mushrooms or whatever and stuff like that, because it is an FDA approved anesthetic. But then I also think that it's probably one of the most healing medicines out there just because of its ability to do all of those things. Like I had to, like when I was taking mushrooms, I had to not force myself, but like, all right, I'm going to completely let go and just let the medicine take me. And if you're not an experienced journeyer, like you're not going to be able to
bumpy ride.
You're not going to be able to do that. Where on ketamine, it's almost like it just happens. It's just a happening. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, every time I've taken mushrooms and then I start to get in this loop of anxiety, that's when it always like gets a little bit dark and then I'm able to navigate out of there. But I remember one time I thought I was taking like a gram of mushrooms, and I've told this story before. And it turned out to be like 4 grams, maybe 5. And if I hadn't been experienced, it could have gone a very different way. And it was a very, very profound experience. But I just feel like with this resurgence of mushroom chocolates and nobody knows what their dose and nobody knows what you're taking, it can lead to,
potentially be helpful
not
at all.
okay.
Yeah.
That's another reason why I like ketamine so much, is because it's consistent. You know what you're getting. Or like, Christina ate some chocolates that time.
I don't know what I was getting.
And all.
I did not know.
Yeah. But like, it's like you actually can accurately dose this stuff and make sure that you're going to give people the right kind of experience without overdosing.
Yeah.
What-
I mean, like, look at us, like we being here. I always try to look at this, like, almost like pioneers in this field,
We are, man.
Nobody held my hand going through it. I dabbled into everything. Like, at moments was thinking like, okay, I definitely lost my mind here on this one. Like, there's no coming back from this one. Yep. So, and then like you take a week to put yourself together, like to realize how to live life again, and then you get enough courage to do it. Okay, it's time to do it again, because at the end of the fear, it's the bliss, it's the everything you ever want, like you just gotta go through that fear. And like now I'm so proud, like, and we talked about this, like I want to I'm starting my own nonprofit organization for psychedelics. Like we will focus mostly on trauma healing and stuff, and we'll definitely be working together in this and stuff. Like, I just know how much I suffered, like going through my personal demons, fighting my personal demons and stuff that I picked up through my life. And I hate suffering. Life it's challenging as it is. Being alive is a challenge in itself. It doesn't have to be more challenging like that. We make it in our own mind, and it's all trauma. It's all trauma and like stuff that might be happened to you when you're 3 years old, that might be messing your life heavily right now when you're like in your 30s or 40s. And the longer you keep stuff, it gets stronger. You try to like protect it, you hold it inside of you, you try to protect
It
that
becomes your
side.
identity.
Yeah. And then it just erupts, and like it can destroy your life. Like I can say for mushrooms, like they came in the right time in my life. My marriage was falling apart. I was financially like probably the worst in my life, and physically as well. Like could barely move. My arthritis was like crazy, and my friend gave me, he's like, hey, you gotta try this. And I wasn't thinking much about it, but like it shattered everything in that moment. It showed me, is like, okay, this is how you need to think, this is how your body should feel. No pain and no worry in your brain, like nothing, like you distance yourself from your mind. You're not your mind. And like in that moment I knew, like, hey, this is the path I need to go. And then telling this experience to my family and my friends is like first time, like everybody was like, okay, like this guy probably lost his mind. It's like tried mushrooms one time, but like slowly, like you see the shift in society is slowly happening. Like this is a great time to be alive. Like it's a psychedelic, I wouldn't say revolution. Revolutions are bloody. Like probably renaissance.
It's a renaissance.
Would be a good word for it. So it's great to be part of this. Like I'm glad I met you guys. Like honestly, like thank you.
No, thank you, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, and we feel the same way. And I feel the same way about being a part of this renaissance that is going right now. It's like, pre being where we're at, like when I first started dabbling with the medicines, not dabbling because like I was always an overachiever, so there wasn't really any dabbling with me. I was like, okay, like, I'm gonna interdimensionally travel here and see how far I can go and what kind of truths I can come back with. And like, it's very true what you said, like psychedelics at high doses are not for everybody.
Absolutely.
Because there were times when I traveled through dimensions and got stuck in between dimensions and thought that I was never going to come back. And then, like having to fight my way back into my body, basically. I came out of some of those experiences and I was just like, this could literally ruin somebody. Like if they didn't have the proper support, which I didn't have for a long time too. Like I didn't have anybody to talk to about this. And everybody I tried to talk about this stuff to was like, oh, he's crazy. You know, it's like you're talking about like meeting Jesus in hyperspace and having telepathic communication with like higher dimensional beings and ETs or whatever labels you want to put on it. But like these are all very real things that happen. And it's so funny because like I was at a conference in Miami like 2 or 3 years ago, and I won't say who I was talking to because I don't want to like do that. But I asked somebody that was really prominent in the industry, like that's like it's a figure that is well known, and I was like, so like when are we going to start talking about the aliens? I was like, or like, you know, like these interdimensional beings that you communicate with on these high doses of the medicine. He looks at me and he goes, "We're not there yet, man. They're not ready. Yeah. They're not ready for that conversation yet."
But this is why it is so important for your staff, wherever you're getting treatments from, to have experiences, you know? It's shell shattering. How many times people told us, "Oh, I was just on a ship." Or there was beings there. Okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you know, I don't look like you like you're crazy.
And you know what? And see, like that's why, like Christina, that's why it's so important, because I've had our staff members come and get me, and they're like, so and so was just on a ship and like made contact with beings, and I'm like, oh, okay, I got this. Like, you know, and I walk in and I sit down and I'm like, what happened was perfectly normal. It's okay. I've been there, you know, and like when you can like sit down and like talk with somebody like that, who's like basically shell shocked from this experience because like they're just like totally shook, like, oh my goodness, like, am I crazy or whatever? And it's like, no, it's perfectly normal and it's okay. And for to be able to look somebody with a straight face and have that kind of conversation, it puts people at ease and it makes them not feel crazy. Which is really important coming out of these kind of experiences.
Yeah, I mean, like most of the time, like here comes the aluminum foil. You know, boom, like get ready.
or like you come out of a treatment and you're worried if you talk about it, next thing you know, they're going to come in with a straitjacket or something, you know, and be like, all right, you know, too funny, man.
Yeah.
So like, I would love to ask you if you're open to talk about it, like what was one of your most profound experiences on the medicine? Is there anything you really remember or brought back with you that you could share?
I would say like, personally, like I would say probably it shattered my view of religion, you know, like I'm coming from Balkans, you know, like, and we carry a lot of, I would say, a lot of trauma when it comes to religion and nationality. You know, like we've been fighting wars there like thousands of years, you know, based on religion. So like having certain way of looking at life, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the way I was brought up. You know, my religion is Orthodox Christian. It's beautiful part of me, like it installed so many values inside of me. But it was also like keeping me very confined inside. So I would say the biggest part was just realizing what God really is, and you know, like that God doesn't punish, you know, like he doesn't judge, like he's not petty like that. He's just pure love, and like if you don't know God as pure love, then you don't know God, you know. So I would say like that was the biggest thing for me, and I probably wrestled with that one for numerous trips, you know, like just admitting to myself like, hey, this is how it is, like, because my idea was like, hey, you do something bad, you go to hell, you know, like you do something good, there you go there or some other place, you know, like, and this like just shattered it all.
Well, you know, like
Wow.
that it's a tough conversation to have in general, and I don't think a lot of people will understand it, but like it completely shattered my view on religion also, man. Not like in a like, see, like the thing, see, you know what's crazy is like I say that, right? And I was actually in the sauna at the gym today with two guys that are Christians, and I was trying to explain to them how like psychedelic therapy or psychedelics, it's it's basically like going to church in a way. It's like you're gonna find God through the medicine. The problem for a lot of people, I think, and this is where it goes to, is like, when I found God, it wasn't what I thought I was gonna find, because it wasn't the program that I had laid on me in my whole life, being raised Catholic and all of, you know, like that kind of point of view. The thing is that the way I look at life now is that I don't believe in God. I know there's a God.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And my knowing of God is that it's nothing separate from me and you and all of us, that we're all collectively it. So when it goes to the part of being religious, I look at religion now as something that separates people because it's a label. So it's like, I guess you could say, if you wanted to have like a religion, it should just be love, right? Like, I am love and so are you and so is God, because God is love. But like, if you look at Sunday, like Sunday is the most segregated day of the week. You have everybody in their separate churches, separate denominations. You might even have like, you know, certain types of religion that have different branches, and they're bad-mouthing the other branch of the religion or something like that. A lot of these wars in the world, almost all of the wars in the world, spawned from some sort of religious difference in belief. It's like, I am the I am and so are you, and we're all it. So if I identify as being like, hi, I'm Charles and I'm Catholic, or I'm Charles and I'm Jewish, or I'm Charles and I'm anything, that's just a concept. To conceptualize that we're anything separate from the one, the oneness, I am love, that's just a way to like separate people.
Yeah,
And so like I'd had this conversation with Dr. Ferber and his wife one time, and I was like, and this is really probably going to piss a lot of people off, but I was like, are you really actually conscious if you identify as being a part of a certain religion? And like, because like, I don't think you are. And I'm not talking down about anybody, and everybody can have their own beliefs, and I'm not trying to be offensive by any means. But the fact is that like, it's all just a concept. I am the I am and so are you, and we're all it. We are all one. And anything other past that is just like, I don't know, it's just a part of the movie. It's just a part of the story, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. I think even Jesus like didn't intend it to be like this right now.
Well, like, Jesus wasn't a Christian.
Yeah.
He was just
That's the
Jesus.
crazy thing. He's just a guy.
He was just Jesus, and he preached love and understanding.
Yes, yeah.
And he was actually like going against the church in the way, because I think that he was probably just trying to tell people everything that we just talked about right there.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that I am love, I am understanding. And like, it's not my job as Charles to judge you or anything that you do, because you're a reflection of me. It's so funny now, the way I look at things now. I'll have a moment where I'll get annoyed or I'll get pissed off at somebody internally about something that they just did, right? And I'm like, all right, how do you fall short there? Like me. Because this isn't about them.
Yeah.
This is about you. They are your teacher. So what are you doing in your life that resembled that, so you can heal that part of you?
That was one of the biggest things, like biggest lesson and biggest shock, like realizing like everything that you see negative in other people is like a reflection of yourself. So that's a big one.
And you know, it's like, once you actually get to the point where you learn from other people's actions and their mistakes, rather than to have it like experience it yourself. Like, I've had somebody that's really close to me that's very enlightened do things in front of me where I was just like, oh man, like that was so far in your ego, and like it was offensive to me or whatever. And I'm just like, now I look back on those times and I'm like, that was you being taught about you, man. Like, you were falling short in that area, and that's why it triggered you. And now you need to go back and make sure that you don't do that, because it was just a reflection of you the whole time.
Yeah.
Psychedelics, man.
Yes, you gotta love it.
That's deep.
That was deep. So
what advice would you give to somebody who's considering doing psychedelic therapy, ketamine therapy, like, and they're on the fence? Like, what would be your, how would you talk to somebody in that situation? What would you say to them?
First of all, like, I mean, obviously, like, you need to verify the person, like, see, are they mentally okay, you know? And you guys have a great guy there to test it out, see where they're standing. The guy can look through you. And I would say my biggest suggestion, I would say, like, start slow, don't rush it. And gentle is the way. A lot of people learn in a harsh way, like maybe their parents were harsh to them, and that's the only way they can learn. So they expect everything new that comes to their life, it needs to be hard, it needs to be like taxing on their body and their mind and everything. So I feel like realizing that you can learn from love and start gentle. And like I said, ketamine is one of the most gentlest medicine there is.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was one of, like, I don't know, was it ever hard for you going through ketamine treatments either here or anywhere else? And at the other place, I mean?
I wouldn't say like anything especially hard. I mean, it was definitely emotional at some points, but and my other clinic, I felt pretty alone, pretty alone to deal with it, which for the most, I would say, like, my spiritual and psychedelic journey, I did felt alone, like nobody can really relate or I have anybody to talk to. And then, like, I feel there was a shift inside of me that happened and say, like, hey, like, I can find the people that can understand me. Like, it doesn't have to be here. I can go out and look for it. And that's how I got in touch basically with you guys, like somebody that truly understands me on a deep level, what I'm going through. Yeah. I can't stress enough how important that is.
Yeah. Super important. There was Charles was telling me a story. You hear that? Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
I hope that conversation doesn't come back and bite me in the ass.
About religion?
You did very good at protecting yourself. You didn't target anyone.
Yes, I think you're good. That's a tricky one.
Yeah.
That's a tricky one. Yes.
Feel free to jump back in when you guys are ready.
Yeah.
We're gonna cut that part out.
When you went to the other clinic, was there any sort of integration, or did they just like put the IV in and then shooed you on your way, let you go home?
I mean, it was a little bit, but I would say the person that was doing it, she's a medical professional. So it was like, in a sense, it was very rigid. Like, you have certain ways, like, okay, I need to check this, check that, check that, check that. And she checks everything. It's like, you feeling good? Okay. How was it? Good. Okay. And I was like, let's go.
Yeah.
Move. And it wasn't every time. Like, sometimes it was, they would have another client after me, so it felt rushed, especially like after ketamine. Like, you need some time to put yourself together.
Well, we do that too. We ask you a lot of questions, but I feel like, does it feel more organic the way that our staff does it?
Absolutely, yeah. You guys have a great staff. Like, Gina is great.
She's so great.
She's awesome.
Yes,
She's
Like,
great.
she really understands. Like, she really, really understands. Like, I even asked her, like, hey, it would be my honor to do ayahuasca with you one time. She agreed to that. So we'll see how that goes.
Amazing.
Yeah, it would be nice to have her there.
Yeah. She's a good guide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I guess one last question I kind of like want to ask you is, with your experience with the other medicines and then doing ketamine, did you expect that from ketamine?
No, absolutely not.
Like, I have this even like when it comes to, like, I have people out there and they're just like, ibogaine is the answer, and like, or like, DMT, like ayahuasca is the answer, and like, you could never reach that kind of level of consciousness or have that kind of healing experience with something that's synthetically produced in a laboratory.
And then like when I had my ketamine experiences, I was just blown away. I couldn't believe it. Did you have a similar feeling like
Oh
about
yeah,
that?
absolutely. It was so different from everything that I experienced, and like you cannot really compare it to anything. Like you can't say like, hey, it's mushrooms. I consider myself like a psychonaut. Like I dabble in big doses, like numerous times. Like tried different stuff. Like and I was like, yeah, already. Like it's not a big deal. And then first time it's just, you know, here we go.
Well, what was the difference between the IM and the IV?
I would say the speed, the onset, like how fast it was. Like I would say IV took a little bit. It's more gentle in a sense, but like for me, I needed that. Like that you go into it. I would say probably IV is more gradual. It takes time to build up, And this one is like you're right away in it. Like, and I mean I say right away, not like drive by shooting way, but like it takes a little bit time, like a minute or two. When I would say the peak of IV would happen around maybe after 25 minutes, in it.
Did you feel like the IV brought you as deep as the IM, or were you able to go
But
further?
I would say like my problem in the other clinic is like probably would take me, but the person was like very rigid with following the doses, and even though I felt like, hey, I need more, like, and part of me is like try to say it like, okay, like maybe I'm rushing it, like maybe she knows what she's doing, but every time like I would felt like I would do it, and I felt it's like, damn, I wish like there was just a little bit more, either more time or more ketamine in it, and with you guys, like my first booster that I did with you, they basically told me is like, okay, like the one that you just finished your ninth session, this is basically what we would start you off with, here. So, I mean, I think it's basically understanding. You guys got a great team. Like, I don't know what else to tell you.
No,
Thanks.
no,
I just think it's important because a lot of people hear these amazing stories and just, what we do. I just was trying because we haven't had anybody on our show that has gone to another clinic first and had that experience and then come to us. So
Yeah.
I was just really trying to compare the two because it's very important for people
Oh
to
yeah,
know.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
People, and I mean, like, and I will continue, bringing more people to you. I brought my last time, like I was here. I brought my girlfriend here also. She was also blown away. Like,
I didn't even get to hear about that. Was that
yes,
good?
like she was very amazed. Like she said, it's way different. Like Gina was there, like holding her. Like she is the person who has a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear in it. Like and doesn't trust people very easily. And Gina was there, and Dr. Ferber, like just to hold her hand and basically gave her that peace to, and like she had amazing trip. It
Oh,
was
I
like
love that.
she said the best one so far.
Oh, that's
Okay.
amazing.
So yeah, if she had more time here, I would definitely got her 3 sessions here.
Yeah.
But next time when we come, like I'll definitely do it again. I'll
That's
bring her
beautiful.
again.
And just so everybody knows, she had actually done treatment somewhere else as
Yes, she did it with me. Like so we both did 9 sessions in other clinics, so she knows the difference. She felt it definitely.
Beautiful, man.
What you're doing is the right thing, and like you gotta keep doing it. And it's like it's. And when you think about it, it's not about the money. Like it's not about like some kind of profit here. Like you try to help this, and like the reward that you reap from it, like helping these people, is like tremendous for you. There's no money in the world that can pay you for that.
So I can't say the name of the person, but you know who it is because you sat in the room with them the other day in the integration room.
Yeah.
He was at the clinic yesterday and he pulled me aside and he was just like, "You got a minute?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So we sat down and talked. And he's like, "I know you don't do this for money, man." He's like, "I can feel you." And I was like, I looked at him and I said, "Listen, man," I said, "we're all one." I was like, so every single time we help somebody heal, I'm raising the collective vibration. We're raising the
Yes.
collective vibration, which is manifesting a better earth for our families and for the people that we love to live in. So it's like, that's why I do this.
Exactly.
That's why I'm so driven behind it, because like I am crazy enough to believe that we can manifest heaven on earth. And it doesn't sound, I mean, it doesn't sound crazy to me. I'm sure it sounds crazy to a lot of people, but like I actually know that this is what this is about.
Yeah, me too.
That's what we're doing
Yeah,
here.
exactly. That's it. Like no like money, no nothing, no distractions, like distractions from the side. Like we are in it to raise the vibration, heal ourselves, heal others. And from my understanding, like they say, speak about heaven and hell, like I think this is your heaven, this is your hell. You can make it hell or you can make it heaven. Society is constructed in that way that like currently it's a hell, like for a lot of people, like experiencing hell here, because everything is pointed against you. Everything is pointed against your consciousness and you not reaching your highest self and being in touch with your highest self. And like once you realize that all these weapons that is utilized in society against you, like and you slowly try to dismantle the parts of your brain that are receptive to this, like
Well, it disconnects you from God.
yes, yeah.
And so the thing is, so like I like to look from the bird's eye view, or like the absolute, where we're all one collective consciousness. This is God experiencing itself in a place of duality, dark and light, yin and yang. And when you break yourselves down into the droplets of water in this ocean of consciousness, we are still manifesting our own realities. So like I'm manifesting my reality, you're manifesting your reality, everybody's living their own movie. So if my outer world is a direct reflection of my inner world, and psychedelic medicines are the thing that actually make you go inside and heal yourself, so your outer world falls into place,
Yes.
well then why couldn't we collectively heal enough through psychedelic therapy and other healing modalities and get to the place where we all manifest some sort of utopic situation where everybody gets along, and sickness and all of these wars and all of these kind of things that end up going away? Like it makes complete sense to me.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what I live for. Like I want to raise my kids, in a different world. I want this to be heaven, you know, as it should be, just to experience life, just to be alive. Like right now, like you have this self-conscious, you constantly, everything you're bombarded with messages around, like you're not good enough. Like people don't love you or you're not going to be loved, like, and you try to protect yourself from that, and you giving your mind an impossible task to protect you from all this stuff, which is impossible task, So, I mean, all we can do is like heal, and heal others, heal ourselves. And they say like if we heal like certain percentage of population, that the rest will
1%.
Yeah, there you go.
90
The rest
million
will-
people. If we wake up 90 million people, then consciousness will shift.
Yeah.
Stephen Greer talks about it.
Yeah, that's the
1%. So basically, and then that would shift us to a different state of consciousness
Yeah.
collectively. And like, I feel like we're on our way there.
I think so too. I think so too. And I think like there probably be like forces that will try to prevent it, but like this movement is so big, and this time like I would say it's it's so silent revolution, happening. It's like not so loud, like, and it's has its way like water, making its way, slowly. And it's beautiful to see, like I remember 13 years ago when I came in America, like nobody even knew about psychedelics. Nobody, me including, nobody knew nothing. And then speaking with like random people, like just somebody on the street is like, yeah, man, mushrooms is the way, or whatever they're using. It's like, I think like whatever works for you, like keep doing it. Try to heal yourself. That's the key. There's nothing like, again, and when I say like heal yourself, in a sense, there's nothing wrong with you, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just your perception of yourself. So like once you shift your perception, heal your heart, in a sense that you are open to love, and being loving, like being open to love and be loved, is very vulnerable position. So, but it's also amazing position to be in. That is the place we should be. you know. So like shifting this consciousness, see yourself as this divine being, that you have all this tremendous power that's been hidden from us, that you can tap into it, that you can ask whatever you want, that everything in your life so far has been delivered to you, you know. So why not go for something more, something bigger and greater, and for not just us, for entire humanity.
Yeah. What if I told you that you could make anything that you wanted, that you could create anything that you want without limitation? How big would you dream?
Yeah,
If
exactly.
you knew it was going to happen. And like, that's why it's like none of the things that I talk about manifesting sound crazy to me, just because like I know that there is no limitation. And so there it is, you know? Well,
Beautiful.
if you had, other than that beautiful message that you just delivered, if you had one message for the world, what would it be?
Just be kind, love yourself. You know, love others, love yourself. Kindness is the way.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
Amazing.
All right,
Thanks
everybody.
for being on our show.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah,
you
thanks
both.
for trusting
Love
us.
you. Yeah,
Love you
man.
both.
Yeah,
Love
thank you.
too.
All right, everybody. Listen, if nobody's told you that they love you lately,
We
We do.
Have
Yes.
a blessed day,
Love you.
everyone.